Welcome to IELTS Band 9. Today's lesson is about new reading and writing skills for IELTS. It is extremely essential to follow through this video. Make sure you share that with your friends and make sure that you turn on notification and subscribe to my videos for the upcoming sessions. Each session, I will train you on the new skills since IELTS test is changing, and this is extremely important to follow through. So the first the first skill for learning in IELTS through the website that I'm going to share with you right now is IELTS-exam.net. This website belongs to British Council, excuse me, and British Council is always changing the new tests and the questions, the styles, and so on. This is one of those official websites that you can improve your skills and upgrade and update the skills that you want. This website is free. You can absolutely log in through IELTS-exam.net and keep your practices accurate. The good point about this website is it comes with the answer keys. Therefore, it has some practices on vocabulary for IELTS, grammar for IELTS, preparing for IELTS, listening and speaking exercises. There are some samples of each skill. Today's skill, I'm going to train you on how to answer the questions accurately in writing essays in IELTS as well as reading passages. So I'm going to start with the reading skills. The reading passages in IELTS consist of 3 reading passages. It doesn't matter general training or academic training. They will give you 3 reading passages. Each reading passage consists of 13 to 14 questions, and you need to have 20 minutes to complete this each passage. Remember, with this website, it's pretty interesting that you have the questions. You see the 12, 13, 14 questions for each passage, and the passage is given through this red link. When you click on it, you see the passage, open the passage in a window, and then you have the other window open with the questions when you're practicing. My suggestion is set the timer. I always communicate with my candidates and the students to set the timer and make sure that you're pushing yourself to be faster, because the challenge of test taking assignments is not only the test and the skills, is basically the timing is the challenge. Anyone can answer the questions of a reading passage over the course of 3 hours, but the limit of the hours is like 20 minutes for each passage. So you read the passage is open. For example, this passage is about on the move. In order to read the passage carefully, you go ahead and read the beginning of each paragraph. So the first sentence in each paragraph will dictate what the topic sentence of that paragraph is, which is, if the paragraphs are coming in alphabetical chronological order, it means each paragraph has different topic. Yes, they're continuous, yes, they are connected, but each topic is different in each paragraph. Read the first sentence of each paragraph quickly without reading the whole passage, just the first sentence of each paragraph, and to get the idea of each paragraph, what each paragraph is about. You can take notes during the test, but it's time consuming. I don't suggest that. I would definitely say quickly run your eyes, skip and scan. It means you skip the lines and you scan the details and then read through those lines to make sure that you get the ideas. And of each sentence at the beginning, only one sentence in each paragraph. Make sure that you read each sentence to get the idea of each paragraph. Why do you do that? When you come back to the passage and they're asking you a question, for example, question 1 to 5, you need to read the instruction of each question what are you supposed to do? In this one, the instruction is choose one or two words for the passage. So to choose one or two words for each passage, you need to precisely know which paragraph carries the answer for example, this sentence. Let's practice together. I never read that passage. I'm doing it while I'm training you on YouTube channel. Um, it is helpful if you follow my other videos and if you subscribe and turn on your notification to improve your skills. For example, the first sentence is saying until the early 19th century, the majority of migrants to North America were, and then you need to fill in the blanks with 1 to 2 words. So the key words of this sentence is considered as early 19th century and majority of immigrants in North America. When you go back to the passage, you need to find the early 19th century and the majority of immigrants. In paragraph D, they're talking about the migration and migrant. You remember that I mentioned like only read the first sentence of each paragraph, because in the beginning of each sentence, the beginning of each paragraph, they will tell you where and how you can find the answer. So this is okay. And then early 19th century, this passage, this paragraph, maybe the answer is in 1 or 2 paragraphs. So in here, they're talking about the early 19th century. So 2 keywords you selected from the passage. The keyword was majority of migrants of North America and 19th century. So you need to look for these keywords to find out the answer. In here, I can find the many years after America, okay, but nothing about the North American migration in early 19th century, right? So the first era of the mass voluntary migration between these areas, this is the first keyword. So it is saying something about what exactly the immigrants were doing, and then they talk about the immigration from developing countries and so on, and then they continue by saying that the numbers, legal and illegal, surge nonetheless in the economic. Hard to know. So when you read each paragraph, you get the idea of why that specific paragraph is designed to have. What I'm going to do in here to show you how simple that is. You can do that when you're on your own, when you're practicing. You can check the answers, and then you see it said, I want to show you how to find the answers. Therefore, when you're selecting the keywords, majority of migrants in North America, in here when they are talking about in paragraph D, we were reading about immigration and voluntary and so on. And so when you read each paragraph, the very first sentence, they will give you where the answers are. And when you read the question, you look for those answers to find the answer. These passages are designed for the students to find the answer. So it's very easy to get band 9 in your reading passage. For example, paragraph 2, it is talking about North America. Okay, that's good. And then they're talking about immigrants, the second keyword. And then they're talking about the North American, that they're nearly half of them that they're in the southern England. Then they're talking about the 19th century. So in a paragraph, I found those keywords. What were those keywords? The keywords were early 19th century, majority of immigrants, and North American, right? In here, I found 19th century, I found immigrants, and I found North America. Therefore, I keep reading this is the moment that you read the paragraph carefully. Therefore, I start reading it and I say, slavery predominated until the slave trade was stopped in the first half of 19th century. By around 1800, North America and the Caribbean islands had received the 8 million immigrants. Of those, 7 million were African slaves. So in the question that they were asking you, until the early 19th century, migrants to North America were what? Were exactly, they were African slaves. So this is how you find the answer. We're going to have another practice on the next one. For example, the next question is, so this practice is called fill in the blanks. Fill in the blanks, you need to read the first, there's a technique and the strategy for this. You need to read the first sentence of each paragraph to figure out what that paragraph is about, then come back to the questions and then scan and skim the questions to find out the keywords. You go back to the passage to figure out where the answers are given. Always make sure that you know the instructions not to exceed 1 or 2 words. The second question is saying, however, in the second half of 19th century, okay, this time you're looking for the second half of 19th century. Something happened and cheaper travel meant that more people could afford emigrate voluntarily. So the second half of um, the second half of 19th century is the keyword, and what happened is a cheaper traveling style with the affordability of the immigration and voluntary and so on. So in here they talk about the voluntary immigration in paragraph 3, and did they talk about the cheaper version of that? We keep reading it, we keep trying to locate the answers. The answers, there's a trick with the reading passages. The answers are not in the chronological order, they are coming in a sporadic pattern. Therefore, don't look at each question with the next question as the next paragraph coming. You keep reading the paragraph. The keywords of the paragraph is saying the second half of 19th century and the cheaper travel and the immigration. So it's pretty easy to know that economic condition. Let's say, can I find anything with the economic condition? Because they say cheaper traveling. Maybe this is the paragraph. Because I didn't read the paragraph, I'm reading it while I'm training you all to see how you can manage and how you can find the answers in the actual time pattern and so on. So they talk about the main expansionary pressure of rising income of the rich countries and the rising income of that. But this paragraph is talking about the little affordability and so on, but they didn't talk about the cheaper traveling and so on. We keep reading to figure out where exactly the answers might be hidden or might be available for you to select. You start from the beginning. It said globalization was talking about the immigrants and the consistency. So experience of accelerating the globalization, international movement, and the greatest economical, social. Okay, pass with the next one is talking about America, the free immigrants. Okay, the voluntary ones, and then they talk about the transport costs, the hike, that they were high, and the passengers, migrant passengers to North America. It was the year wages with the farm labor and so on, the predominant of that. And then they talk about the voluntary migration. Maybe this is the paragraph. And the new world by the 20th century. So the cost, the falling transport costs. This is the passage, this is the paragraph that carries the answer because it's talking about the affordability of the traveling and so on. And then they talk about the outnumbered immigrants. Keep reading till you find the answer. They said before the immigration grew and grew as a destination, the incomes there rose enough to immigration feasible, but not enough to take the pointless. So the government began to try controlling immigrants and so on. So migration happened with the prosperity, as it said, like growing prosperity and rising income. And that's where I found the answer. How I found the answer, the first sentence of each passage will dictate where the answer of each question is. When you read it, said the first era of voluntary migration between this and that. When you keep the second sentence and so on, they give you the answer. So each paragraph should be read, and each paragraph must be understood and based on the general content and general understanding of each paragraph. Therefore, when they were talking about growing prosperity, and you can choose growing prosperity, but they also talk about rising income, the incomes rose and so on. That's fine, as long as it is proper for that specific blank to be given. We cannot exceed 1 or 2 words, but the words are driven and taken from the actual passage. I keep working with you all on different techniques. Fill in the blanks is the first technique. There are 5 different types of questions in reading passages. Fill in the blanks is the most popular one. There are a variety of those. By practicing, you get used to it. So, recap: each paragraph contains one topic sentence. The first sentence of each paragraph is a topic sentence. When you read that topic sentence, the main idea of that paragraph is hidden in the topic sentence. Therefore, you are supposed to get the ideas before you read the paragraph. The reason that I found the answers this fast is because quickly I read the first sentences of each paragraph, and I am able to do it properly. You can continue on practicing those. I'm going to introduce you list of heading. The first list of heading is they give you a sentence like this one. For example, question 6 to 11, they give you a sentence: changing departure point and destination for migration. And they ask you to match this sentence to the proper paragraph. The paragraph, the paragraph the paragraphs are initiated and introduced by the letters. Therefore, when you read changing departure points and destination for migration, in paragraph 3, they keep talking about the new world and how between 1914 to 1945 the whole immigration reduced, and how in Europe and United States the immigration started increasing and outnumber little by little. And then the Second World War, the cost of the travel fell sleepy. Then the pattern of immigration and growing up destination is, can you see the key word in here that I found? I'm reading the passage for you, but I want you to be able to see the keyword: immigration and grew as the destination. In the question, they ask you changing departure point and destination for immigration. The idea of immigration, the idea of increasing immigration is given in paragraph C. I'm going to practice the next one with you to see how easy that is to get band 9 from reading passages, reading tests. Disadvantages for present immigration policies. The disadvantages are given in paragraph 8. Why? Because in paragraph 8, in the first sentence, because of the main idea, they said this does help in one way, quite a part of narrowing the rich country's shortage of the skilled worker. But then they talk about the low wages even lower. Then they talk about it pushes the illegal immigration. So the questions are dominantly, they're asking for immigration. The whole passage is about immigration, but different policies of immigration, present policies of immigration, and the disadvantages of that is hidden in here, because they said it makes the immigration difficult, and low wages, low paid people, they get paid even lower, and immigration will become illegal. The workers are sending to their own countries, and some of the world's poorest nation lose almost the doctors and they train. So as you see, they didn't say disadvantages, the word, but the idea of negative points of immigration is given in this paragraph. Each paragraph comes with an idea, with one topic idea. Make sure you read the first sentence of each passage. Make sure you read the entire paragraph by scanning and skimming quickly to get that idea given. Therefore, the idea of disadvantages or the negative points of immigration and the policies and so on, it comes in paragraph H. So that was the second type. The first type was fill in the blanks. The second type was list of heading, that you match the topic and match the sentence to the proper paragraph. The next one is multiple choices. For multiple choices, they're very easy to find the answer. You quickly read the topic. Sometimes the topics are maybe similar to the previous question. Therefore, you quickly know which paragraph carries the answer. It's a pressure to immigration and increasing now. You read that, and then you quickly read the question. You scan and skim the question answers, like multiple choices A, B, C, D. Economic conditions have become more desperate. So the question is saying pressure to migrate is increasing now. Why many people are migrating now? Because Economic conditions have become more desperate. Immigration restrictions are being relaxed. Generally, people earn more. There is a great need for unskilled workers. So, why immigration is increasing? Which paragraph did we read the answer? We read about the mass voluntary immigration in here, and they kept talking about the migration developing the countries expanded and the incomes were rising. Can you see that? So higher income well given. How did I find the answer this fast? Just simply because I was reading the first sentence and I was scanning and skimming. Therefore answer C is the letter C is the correct answer. You can try the rest of them. So far I have been teaching you fill in the blanks, how to approach, read the first sentence, scan and skim, find exact same words that you have in the passage. I taught you how to do the list of heading. When you do the list of heading, read the sentence and scan and skim the paragraphs quickly to find the idea. Don't look for the words. The words you need to look for is in the fill in the blanks. The ideas of each paragraph is for the list of heading. Then for the multiple choices, the ideas, like when you read the passage, you find the ideas, general understanding and comprehension of each paragraph that is given. I'm going to do another one. It said lower incomes for unskilled worker. This is very easy because the keywords are very clear. In the paragraph, you need to look for lower incomes for unskilled workers in receiving countries and so on, led to protest about immigration, encouraged countries to import. So the question is asking you lower incomes for unskilled worker is receiving in receiving countries have what? What do lower income unskilled workers have? This is the question, right? So what happened? What happened when they getting lower income, right? Um, Reduce the amount of money and provided opportunity for the immigrants. What happens when they receive lower money? In which paragraph we're talking about the income? So they said many governments began trying to control the immigration, and after the second one, they were getting lower paid and so on. And many countries were not happy about that. And the idea was given at the beginning of a paragraph. I think I read it in the second paragraph and the third paragraph as well. So when you read each paragraph, this is another skill. When you read each paragraph, make sure that the ideas are driven correctly. Make sure you comprehend each paragraph. Make sure you understand the content. So they talk about lots of unskilled workers. We talked about in the question about unskilled workers. So they say lower income unskilled worker. The moment you find the keywords, you keep reading about that, and then make sure that you read carefully, word by word, to understand. So it said, in contrast, opportunities of the unskilled workers are dwindling. So the wages of unskilled workers are falling, and the fall is enough to hurt the workers' concern but not deter new immigrants. So they were not happy. It affected rich countries and the positions of those, and they were the establish of the immigration. It tends to increase the poverty. They were talking about that, and they were not happy with that. And the receiving countries needed unskilled with that, with unskilled workers in industry and farming. And in the first decade of the 21st century, opportunities for unskilled workers are dwindling. So they were not happy with that. And so I'm reading the question because the question said lower income for unskilled workers in receiving countries. Yes. And then in here they said immigration and illegal immigration. When you read it carefully, you get the ideas of the previous paragraph given, because the first sentence of each paragraph is the topic sentence. The last sentence of each paragraph is given as the concluding sentence of that paragraph, right? So restricting immigration and not being happy, and they were against that idea, is given. Therefore, you can select the idea. So this session, I'm training you on those 3 skills, but next session you can follow my next videos, and I'm going to continue with the with other skills in the reading passage. So we'll learn about fill in the blanks, we'll learn about multiple choices, and we'll learn about list of heading. For the reading, for writing, after the reading, for writing in this website, British Council created many sample writings, essay, task 2. Into general training and academic training, task 2 is the same. The topics that they give you, they always give you a topic and they ask you some questions that you must answer all these questions in your essay. Your essay must be written in 250 words over the course of 40 minutes. Make sure you do not exceed 40 minutes. Something that many students and many candidates don't know about. The amount of like the marks for task 2 is considered double of the amount of task 1. Therefore, I always suggest to candidates to start writing task 2. A, it is longer essay, 250 words. B, the marks are considered as multiple or the double amount of the task 1. Therefore, my suggestion is you control your writings, try to manage your time. Time management for task 2 is 5 minutes outlining your idea, jot down your ideas and bullet points, 30 minutes writing essay, and 5 minutes proofreading, editing, and revising. Check your sentences, check the spelling, check the errors in grammar and punctuation, because everything is counted. And something that many students are confused about, they say, oh, should I write down 5 paragraphs, 6 paragraphs, 7 paragraphs? Usually, because the time is limited in 40 minutes, try to stick to do not exceed 5 paragraphs, 1 paragraph introduction, 1 paragraph conclusion, 2 to 3 paragraphs as your body paragraphs. How do you write the paragraphs? The questions are always asking you to discuss both sides of the argument, advantages, disadvantages, or compare, contrast, positive, negative, pros and cons. So there's no bias. You must always discuss both sides of the argument, and you must express your opinion. No matter what kind of question they give you, you always have to discuss both sides of the ideas and then express your opinion. Your opinion is always in the first paragraph as the last sentence of the paragraph. It is considered as the thesis statement. Some students, they say, should they say I agree or I believe or I think? You don't need to say I to seal the deal, because anything you write in your essay is your idea without saying I. To begin with, the first sentence in the introductory paragraph is the general idea about the topic. Let's read the topic with me. Tourism has increased so much over the last 50 years. However, it is having a mainly negative impact on local inhabitants and the environment. However, others claim that it is good for the economy. So basically, the topic is initiating the 50 years of the tourism industry, and they ask you to discuss the past, the present, and the future. So make sure your grammar tenses are past, present, and future. You can use present perfect, you can use past perfect, you can use simple past, past continuous, you can use future, future continuous. So always when you read the topic of the essay, you need to decide what kind of grammar tenses you need to use in order to get band 9 in task 2. You need to have variety of the grammar, you need to have variety of the tenses. Therefore, by reading the question, you definitely get the idea of what exactly is in need in terms of the grammar. Then the question is asking you discuss the advantages and disadvantages and give your opinion. So there are 3 points that you must answer. Giving your opinion is always in the last sentence of your first paragraph. You can also give your opinion in the last paragraph, in the concluding paragraph, that's fine. And advantages and disadvantages of tourism, 1 paragraph advantages and 1 paragraph disadvantages. I'm going to read this essay with you as a sample essay. The author of this essay discussed advantages and disadvantages in both paragraphs individually, which is fine, but it is better organization if you use advantages in one paragraph and disadvantages in the second paragraph. Remember one important point. You must answer all these questions in order to be able to get band 9. Advantages and disadvantages of tourism, and give your opinion on that. So the author said whether or not tourist destination benefits from the international tourism is a debatable issue. So this is a general idea of about the topic. So always the first sentence is a general idea about the topic. The second sentence is something about the one side of the argument. To Sonic government, the local economic benefits are worth the overcrowding, the high prices of the tourist season. Can you see the eloquent vocabulary and collocation in this essay? Make sure when you have the topics from this website, read the sample essay, try to follow the good collocation, and why not make them your own? Put them in your own writing, use them in your own writing. By reading the sample essay, you learn more. Excellent writers are perfect readers. Make sure you read more. Read these sample essays and then start writing about them. Follow my other videos. And if you want me to assess you, message me and comment on my videos on YouTube. And you can also follow me on Instagram, IELTS, hashtag IELTS .band9. I have many followers that they learn the idiomatic expression, good collocation, and so on. By practicing and reading the sample essays every single day, you can improve your vocabulary. Not to digress the topic, the first introductory paragraph, the first sentence is the general idea about the topic. The second one and the third one are considered as saying something or introducing the topic. However, there are environmental and social costs and their risks of relying on tourism as a major source of the annual income. So what did the author do in here? The first sentence is the introductory to the general topic. The second sentence is talking about advantages of the tourism, and the last sentence is talking about disadvantages. You don't explain them in the introductory paragraph. The explanation happens in the body paragraph. So those two body paragraphs, read them with me. They said sleepy coastal communities can be changed beyond recognition by mass market tourism. Package holiday companies operate huge numbers of low-cost flights to high-rise hotels in developing countries every summer. This means that, of course, that easy money can be had servicing this seasonal influx, and the government sees increased tax revenue and the local employment. So far, it was a good advantages. And now the author is talking about disadvantages. Here, they said, however, when the tourist season comes to an end, employment ceases and the areas become a ghost town. The social cohesion of the small community can also be blighted by the seasonal migration of people to the cities to look for work out of season and leaving only the elderly behind. So this is perhaps made worse by second home. So the author in here at the beginning talk about positive point and then talk about negative point. The author did the exact same thing in the third paragraph. The author started by this, the second paragraph was positive point first and negative point second. The author started by talking about negative points positive points at the negative points at the beginning, and it said, on the other hand, the local community to gain language skills and the fringe benefits of the cultural exchange, such as large volume of travelers every year, can cause environmental problem to fragile habitats. So it is all about the negative point of tourism, and then continued with the positive point by saying local infrastructure can also fail to. So continue with the negative a little bit at the end, and then said local government and investment in the infrastructure should ensure that to repeat trade and the further benefits. So it's okay if you want to use positive and negative in each paragraph, but my suggestion is for better organization. IELTS examiners look for excellent organization. Talk about positive points and the advantages of advantages of tourism, and then disadvantages of tourism. In the last paragraph, you can express your opinion. This author said, overall, tourism can be a good source of income for countries blessed with the natural beauty of the sites and historical interest. However, government must ensure that the wishes and the local business. So the author expressed his opinion without saying I. Can you see that? This is what you need to do. My suggestion is you read at least one sample essay. When you get to this website, you click on IELTS Task 2. You start reading one essay per day. You see the number of the essays. And because this is the official website of British Council, they add various videos every day. Therefore, it is important for you to read excellent samples. Thank you for watching this video. Make sure you follow my other videos and see you next time.